Hi there, welcome to Tactical Magfed. In this video I'm going to be going over the Visionking 1.25 to 5 by 26 variable zoom red dot scope. That's a mouthful. Okay, so we have the Visionking in the box in front of us. We're going to go on and get it out of the box in a moment. This particular scope was bought from Amazon. If you're interested at all at the end of this video and you want to go get one of these, I'll put a couple of links down in the description below. If you do click on any of the links that I put in the description, chances are it's going to be an affiliate through Amazon. Anyway, so we have the Visionking optic here. It is the 1.25 to 5 variable zoom by 26. They claim it can be used in the real steel in a real steel environment. I have seen a couple of people with real steel guns using it on rifles, but for the purposes of this video, it's related to paintball. So a low recoil, gas powered toy, if you want to call it that, for you real steel guys out there. Okay, so first of all, we're just gonna. It comes in a sturdy box. It wasn't taped up or anything. I've taken it out of the packaging that it came in, but it was effectively in a bubble wrap bag. It wasn't in a massive box or anything like that. But there's no rattles or sounds of broken glass in here. So it's just a slide off box. There, inside we have a little Visionking box there. Get to that in a moment. We have, I'm assuming to be the scope, wrapped up in some foam. I'll deal with that. Lens cloth. And an instruction manual in English. Okay, so it is all English. It is all English. Got some. Looks like it's got some adjustment ball sighting, tips for zero in it, all that kind of stuff. That looks like it's pretty good. I wasn't expecting that to be in English, to be honest. I was expecting it to be in Chinese. It says made in China, plastered all over the box here. So not too bad. Nothing major to find in there. Put this out there. What should we go over first? So let's go with what's in the box. Okay. So this looks to be a little attachment. It's got like a honeycomb effect in the middle there. I think that is either protection for the front glass or some kind of diffuser for reflections if you were using it for hunting and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll set that to one side and have a look. So let's take this out of the wrapping. Couple of plastic bands. Gently velvet one. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay, so you're going to have it in this plastic wrapper. Gently does it. Don't want to go knocking that down. Had some protective silica in there to keep the moisture out. Take a shot of that as well. Okay, cool. So it comes already installed with these flip up protectors on either side, which is pretty cool. Excellent. Okay, for the moment what I might do is just take those off. Just to show you what it looks like without them, because I'm imagining there's some sort of they're on there pretty good. There we go. Bit of a nervous moment there. Okay, cool. So there's the scope. That's what it looks like in all its finery. So there's no scuffs or dings on it, which is good. Looks to be a nice solid bit of kit. This looks like it is one solid tube, certainly from here. Obviously that ring moves, the end, that's a focal ring on that end as well. Looks like it's a fine adjustment for focus. Ah, cool. Well, let's just put that there for a second. So, there's look to be a ring on the end there. Okay, so what do we have here? So the brand is Visionking. I did a little bit of googling around on these things. There's a bunch of different brands on Amazon and they all look to be peddling the same scope under different brand names. I'm not going to go naming some of them out, but they were all the same focal length. I think they were 1.0 to 4, 5 or 6, I can't remember which, but instead of having this straight tube all the way along here, they basically, when you look at the pictures, they come down into here and then they come here and then they bubble back out again. And I think they were either, instead of being a by 26, they were by a times 28 or even a times 30. So slightly different magnification, and they've been knocking around on Amazon for quite a long time, that scope. They have positive reviews on them and stuff like that, but I couldn't find any decent reviews, if you like, similar to this, where someone's breaking down the quality of the items. It's quite a chunky unit. It doesn't feel too heavy. If I can find some scales, I'll put the weight of it in the description, or if there's a description that comes with it. You'll probably notice on the side here that there's this emblem on here. First of all, it looks a bit like a logo or something like that, but that actually depicts the red dot, the reticle of the site. So if you are ever looking at these online, most often if you see these patterns on the side, that denotes the reticle that you're going to get in here. So this is a three line reticle with a dot in the middle with a second circle round it, and it is red blue. So it's not red green or anything like that, it's red blue. Doesn't come with a battery in it, so I haven't got a battery to put in at the moment. What I'll do is I'll put some B-roll or something on here to show you. I'll put something up to show you what the reticle looks like if I can catch it on camera. Effectively, you got these two covers on here. And these are your adjustment, your windage adjustment to fine tune your zero. I'll just take those off. Okay, so you've got quite a decent amount of adjustment there, and you can do it with your fingers. You don't need a tool by the looks of that. You can click around with your fingers, which is quite nifty. You're not going to need a tool to re-zero. That turns around to all the different brightness levels. It goes from 1 to 5 in brightness level. I haven't had a battery in it, obviously, to test how bright these settings are, but I've heard good things about this site, so I'm looking forward to getting it mounted, which we'll talk about in a moment. We'll talk about some mounts and stuff. The zoom length on here, you can probably see here, like I said before, it's 1.25 the bottom range, so it's slightly zoomed in on the lowest setting. Then you work your way up to you've got 1.25, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4 and 5. So it's quite a good, it's got 5 times zoom on there, it's quite good. For my purposes of paintball, I don't think I'm going to need much more than 5 times 5 times zoom on there. I do occasionally use First Strikes, and if I'm going to be, with paintballs, I'm not looking at being some kind of 800-yard shooter. I think people sort of say this is pretty decent up to 100 yards in terms of on a real rifle. So if I can keep my target closer to me within 100 yards on my paintball marker, I think that would be a pretty decent shout. So I'm effectively going to be using this as so each game I can sort of set it to a distance that I find comfortable at the range I'm firing at. Not so much adjusting the zero of it, but adjusting the focal length. So if I'm maybe playing woods ball, I might have it zoomed in up to 3 or 4 maybe, so that I can bring my enemy closer to me, so I know whether I'm hitting them or not. And if I'm doing more sort of closer gameplay, maybe in sort of forted areas or in scenario games just shy of coming into CQB, I'll have it zoomed up closer. But I'm going to do another video once it's on my marker, how I'm actually going to have it set up, because I'm working on a canted micro red dot being alongside it for CQB. See how that works out in the paintball world. But anyway, we'll continue with this. From what I can tell, I've heard really good things about this. Yeah, it is ringing true here. So I'm not going to be able to show you very well on camera, on video, what it looks like, but all the reviews I've heard is this sight performs above its price point. This is about I think it's about 60 quid, £60 here in the UK. So topping up to $70-80 maybe in the States. And it has, a lot of people do use these on smaller gauge weapons, sort of 22s and stuff like that. But yeah, I like this. At first, I was a bit put off by the light adjustment being up on the end here, and I very nearly didn't get this because of it, purely because I thought it would mess with my line of sight when it was up on the weapon. But this is quite a short, it needs to be quite close to your face. It's quite a short throw. I'm talking projectors there, but it's quite a short throw. It needs to be sort of that close to your face so you can see the full reticle. So you can't have it sitting too far away because you just won't see anything. It has to be quite up close and personal to your face. But I'm looking at a wedding photo over there, sighting up on myself, obviously, not my wife, on a wedding photo, and that it looks really clear. I'll try and get some imagery down there if I can. I don't know if it's possible, but I'll have a go. Screw these back on in a minute, and as I'm screwing that down, I can feel that there's a rubber grommet at the bottom there, a little rubber washer. It does state that this is weather resistant, not weatherproof. With it being all a one piece like it is, it looks like it's going to be manly enough to take a few hits from paintballs. It's fog resistant and all that kind of stuff, so I'm hoping it's going to fare well out there on the paintball field. What I will do, I'll just take this off. I think that's where this little bad boy goes on. So there you go. So yeah, that's crazy. It's on the front, but I can't even tell. Like, you wouldn't know from here. It's obviously some sort of optical illusion there that maybe you very, very slightly see that, but that's interesting. I might have a play about with that, whether I leave that on. I can imagine if that gets hit with a paintball, that'd be hell of an old job to get paint out of this little honeycomb on the front there. That's an interesting, nice to have. And also, you know, it's nice that it comes with these flip-up protectors on each end. Now I've had this out of the box for a little while. I've had a quick mull over the instruction manual just so I can give you a few more details about the specs of this sight, if you like. Okay, so I said before it didn't come with a battery. I'll find a battery and put it in there in a moment. So I'll show you how to do that. The elevation and windage for this are set to 100 yards. So effectively, once I get this off again, when you look in here, it's got 1/4 of an inch at 100 yards. Okay, so if you are zeroing this on a target or a distance you know which is 100 yards, then each click of this dial, it's upwards in an anti-clockwise direction, so you go anti-clockwise up, clockwise to go down, and each click is 1/4 of an inch. Now obviously as your distance changes, that click, the movement per click will change. So it does explain that in the instruction manual, so just check that out if you do purchase one of these. But yeah, out of the box, it's set at 100 yards distance. So just so you know that 100 yards, it's 1/4 of an inch. All right, and that's on both the elevation and the windage. So you can just about see here that there's a little mark, and that's 0. So both of these are on 0. So it's a completely blank slate in terms of setting it up. I don't believe they've been pre-zeroed in any way, shape or form for 100 yards. Okay, so I'll put that back on. So what we'll go over next is we'll just get this battery cover off. There you go. I believe this takes CR2032. So by the power of editing, we're gonna. There you go. One battery. So put this out. Yep. So a CR2032. Now these normally are a pig to get on. So spring tension on there, so I'm just trying to get it to, there we go. And if I set that to, oh, it's a nice blue dot. Very nice. Okay, you're not going to be able to see that in any way, shape or form, I would not imagine. So what I'll try and do, see if I can get that on there. There we go. Okay. So as I said earlier, this isn't a red and green dot or anything else like that. It's a red and blue dot. And from what I can tell, this is really clear. There's really clear glass in this. I'm not an expert on scopes or variable zoom scopes or this type of scope. It's actually my first rifle scope like this, so I'll let you know how I get on with it. But yeah, for the price I paid for this and the clarity of that lens, even at this distance, I'll be careful. I might poke it out the window and have a look and see what the zoom's like, but I have to be careful not to do it on my paintball gun, because I might get the old Bill knocking on the door, lifting my collar. Right, so what else is there for me to tell you on this? There are 5 brightnesses on both red and blue. It's set to 100 yard, 1/4 of an inch changes per click. It does come with the front and rear protectors and dust covers already on there. It has a focal ring on the end here just to adjust it to your independent, to your individual focus. And it does not come with a mount, and it does not come with a battery. You'll have to get a CR2032 battery, and you have to get a 30mm mount. Now, once again, by the power of editing, I have a couple of those kicking around, so we'll just get a couple out here. Okay, so a couple of different styles. Obviously, with me using this on a paintball marker, I'm using a riser underneath the mounts, so it brings up the line of sight when I've got my mask system on my goggle system. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to get my cheek down far enough behind the sight to actually get a decent sight picture. So this is the one I'm actually going to use on my T15. I've already got like a telltale sign of what I might do with this. So I've got a canted 45-degree Picatinny rail on the side there. So stay tuned for that project. But essentially what you do, stick it on the mount here, and then you put the top rails on, screw it down. Okay, now you do need to be aware of, when you're fitting this, that you probably want to fit this bit first and then adjust that, put that on and do those up loosely just so there's some movement, because you need to get this, with it being a tubular sight, if it's too close you'll get a lot of black ring round the sight picture. If it's too far away you'll get you won't be able to see all the way down there. As soon as you get it off, off centre of that tube, you'll lose all sight picture. So you kind of got to hit the sweet spot, sort of. And it's for me, with both eyes open, it's about there. I don't know how close you call that, but I'd say it's probably about 6 to 8 inches, maybe, give or take. So just factor that in when you are sourcing this sights. There's lots of sights out there that come with the mounts, especially on your Amazons and on your Amazon searches and whatnot. These sights are these rails aren't particularly expensive. I think this one was about £13, and these two, essentially this is 4 different components. It's a half-inch riser with a 45 Picatinny rail on it. It's a flat Picatinny, a 45 degree. There's an additional canted Picatinny on there, and then there's these 2 bits. Essentially all you really need is these 2 mounts at either end, and this bottom one. These were about £9 for the 2. So they came as a pair, and again that was about £8. This bottom rail, it's a QD quick release rail. So the idea is that I can change this out and put a smaller red dot on. If I want to change my gameplay, I won't need tools to take this off. I am planning on putting a elastic band or some form of restraint around that last Picatinny rail and there, just in case I accidentally catch these. I need one at least to stay locked on if I catch them on my webbing or my belt kit stuff. So they might get changed out to a fixed screw, but for the minute I like the fact they're quick release and I can change them out. So yeah, you're going to need to factor in battery and a mount, and the mount, make sure the mount you get is a 30mm mount, okay? Because if you get the 24mm mount or the 26mm mount, obviously won't fit on here. Okay. So, haven't tested this out in anger. Like I said, I've only sort of had it out of the box and had a read through the instructions. So, I'm going to be really keen to get through this whole quarantine business, get it on my T15 and take it out on the field. Looks like it's well sealed. It's going to take a hit like a champ. It's nice and solid, and a good investment at a bargain range sight, a bargain end sight. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up now. If you've got any questions or comments regarding the site, please hit me up in the comments below. Let me know if you have similar sight on your paintball marker, or if you've used this on real steel, because some people watching this might pick it up, might want to get more details for real steel. So anything like that, hit me up in the comments. If you like this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe and hit the bell notifications for the channel. If you're interested in anything to do with Magfed paintball and tactical gear kit and reviews, please check out some other playlists, because there might be something in there that you'll find interesting. Lots of cool stuff on there, lots of cool stuff to come. If you're into battle belts and pouches and gear and all that kind of good stuff, have a good look through the Let's Get Tactical playlist. I'm sure you'll find something in there that you'll like. Anyway, rambling on, I'm going to close this out now. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.